AITA for not reminding my fiance that stoves are hot.
Oh.
This is the best headline that we've had so far, I think.
Last night, my fiance, 31M, and
I expected him to be like 4.
and I, 30F, were winding down our days getting ready to make dinner. Together in the kitchen, I popped the chicken in the oven. Also in the oven was our cast iron pan. We go back to our respective video games, and then when the chicken was getting closer to finish, I go out to the kitchen to start on veggies. I take the now 400-degree cast iron out of the oven, turn on the stove, and plop some butter in there while I turn my back and start cutting vegetables. Fiance comes out asking what it is that he needs to do. I say, I just need these veggies, which I was actively doing. And he goes to give the cast iron pan a shake to move the butter. Yes, the 400-degree iron handle. He grabbed it. It was less than a second, no lasting damage, but definitely burned his fingers, 1st degree. Now the question became, was I the asshole for not adequately warning him about the hot cast iron? More importantly, I am refusing more than 50% blame for the incident. To me, the cast iron handles will regularly get hot when using it on the stovetop, but obviously this was way hotter than usual hot, so I can't say that I would grab it with reckless abandon, like my lovely fiance did. He claims I should at least take majority blame, 51-49 minimum.
I love this discussion.
But he thinks more like 60-40. Additionally, my back was turned. I didn't see him reach for the pan or I would have warned him. We went back and forth on the percent blame for a while last night. Can't decide. Obviously, Reddit is the best place to solve relationship disputes. Note, he had no idea I just took the pan out of the oven, obviously. AITA.
I love this couple, just to start off with. That
I love them too. I'm so happy you're saying that.
Yeah.
They're funny and they're nerds. Right?
Yes,
like,
I
what
love
a bunch
it.
of
I
nerds
love it.
they're talking about. It sounds like this isn't a real fight, but a general, like, what do you guys think?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
There's no danger in this one, which is such a relief.
Yeah.
'Cause I feel like all of the other ones have had a lot of like,
no real
we're going to get
danger.
divorced or whatever. This one's like, oh, this is a cute one.
Yeah.
This is actually the civil standard as well. I don't know if you guys know about that.
No.
Yeah, in criminal court, they don't want to give a percentage, but it's beyond reasonable doubt.
Okay.
Which I think most people would say is probably like what, 99%, like pretty high,
Okay.
95 you might say, but it's not actually given. But in civil court, I think they do say, or it's implied, it's preponderance of the evidence. So it's literally just 51-49.
And then you're guilty for 51.
Yeah, civilly
Interesting.
liable. You're not guilty, right?
Okay.
You got to pay money or some shit, but you
Like
ain't
a-
going
yeah.
to prison.
That is so interesting. Are they lawyers, I wonder? Maybe this is like a whole thing.
I don't
for
think they're
them.
lawyers.
They're gamers.
They're gamers.
Gamers.
Yeah. Maybe they're doing games about logic and numbers and stuff. I feel this is so funny to me because I feel like if I was her and he came in and touched it, I would have been like, that's hot. I'm so sorry I didn't tell you. Honestly, I think that'd be my gut reaction. It's like, oh my God, I didn't tell you. That's hot.
I feel like I get that. And
Yeah.
also, I think it's pretty widely accepted and known that cast iron skillets are hot when you use them, and you never grab a handle with, even if it's on the stove, it's gonna get
I
hot.
guess that's fair.
And so I feel like if it was on the stove and there was butter bubbling away in it, he should have known.
But hold on, if it was
Oh.
just hot from that, it wouldn't have burnt him.
It would have. Cast
No.
iron handles, they get too
With
hot.
the butter still melting?
I
In
think
other
she
words,
Didn't she say she took
No,
it out and
yeah,
like the
you-
butter was like
But he didn't know.
melted?
He didn't know, right? So she took it out of the oven.
Yeah.
She put it up there, and then
Yeah.
the butter was still melting as it was sitting on the stove. So from his point of view, it had been
If it was 400 degrees, like she said, that butter would be melted. You put it on, it would have been melted. There's no way that butter
well,
would
no,
have
but he
been.
literally
chilling.
he goes to give the cast iron pan a shake to move the butter around. So,
Yeah, it's like a puddle. You got to shake it around to spread it on the whole cast iron.
Well, still, yeah, but he would have thought that it melted from being on the stove, not from being in the oven. How could he possibly?
but that's my
infer?
point is that
Do you
even if it melted from being on the stove, it would be too hot to touch.
Do you
and
cook with a
should have
cast
known that.
iron
No, I
skillet?
don't.
No,
I
so
do.
they are
They're
hot.
very hot. You should
if
never
you touch
ever grab
them,
it.
it's not a regular pan where the handle is a safe zone. It is.
But it
hot.
wouldn't. But okay, but it wouldn't be hot. It wouldn't be that hot from just melting butter.
Yeah.
It could
No.
be.
No.
It definitely, you cannot, if you grab a cast iron
Yeah.
pan
From
on
just
the
melting
stove,
butter?
from melting
Yeah.
butter,
Which
it
would
will
take
be,
how long? 2 minutes? You're telling me in 2 minutes? It would
No, it
burn?
won't get hot. Here's the thing: it won't get hot enough to melt butter until the whole thing is hot because
Yeah.
it's thick. It's like a thick pan. If you've
It
never
is.
used one, you cannot speak on this.
I've
I will
used
just
one.
say
I've
this.
used one.
Oh,
You
now you
used
change
it
it. I would like you to make sure
I
that
don't
this
have
doesn't get
one.
edited out the first version.
No, we won't edit it out. Okay, so
No,
I
cast
think
iron skillets, the handle is always hot when it's hot enough to cook or do anything.
Even like, so I think another reason where I was like, I think I'd just say, sorry, we don't cook 'cause we're dummies. But like, I do use a cast iron skillet to like I'll make whatever. And you do always have to have like your oven mitt.
that's very much in the thread that there should be a signifier, like something over the handle to like show that it's hot or like.
I think I would be on the side of like she should have warned him if there was no butter in it, because then you wouldn't be able to tell that it was hot.
But it would not have been hot enough to instantly burn you.
Yes.
You think it would be hot enough to instantly burn you?
Maybe not burn you, but be like, ow.
Yeah, ow. It would ow you, but it wouldn't burn you.
But if you know that about a cast iron skillet, you should grab the oven mitt.
You never grab the handle.
Yes.
I think we're fighting about a few different policies. So the first policy is never grab a cast iron skillet basically by the handle if it's on anything.
If it's in use.
Is that a reasonable policy? I think
that is absolutely reasonable.
Is it also, I think, a reasonable policy to always let someone know that there's something hot, even if they could infer? I think, yes, it is.
I think if she had been turned the other way, I'd be more on board because she didn't even know he was coming in to do anything, right?
Well, she knew he was in. I think if you're cooking in the kitchen, like say you're making tea, and it's like they didn't necessarily hear it or whatever. I'm like, you say hot kettle or whatever. You say it. I think that's a good policy. It's a no-brainer.
I think that's a lot of work.
To say warning hot.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work.
I think it's
warning hot.
I mean,
that's not a lot of work.
Too much.
I think if you're messing around with it, be like, that's hot right now. But also, like, if someone goes to touch a kettle, I'd assume they know where the parts are to touch, which would be the handle.
You say there's a hot thing because it also means be careful. Like, don't just fuck around in here.
I mean, is the kettle screaming?
Well, whatever.
Like, I didn't know it was hot. There was bubbles coming out of
it.
There's times in a kitchen where something is hot and you can't necessarily tell at a glance.
I mean, like I would say like, oh, there's a hot pan, there's a hot whatever.
Yes.
But I don't think it's my burden whenever anyone goes in the kitchen to be like, there's something hot in there. Watch out. Like I think that's overkill.
Why wouldn't you do that though?
Because it's too much, man. I will like warn you if I notice someone's going for me. Oh no, that's hot.
Yeah. I don't think you need to yell.
Hot
there's
cooktop
a hot thing in the area. Have you worked were you a chef?
No.
In a past life?
Never.
I feel like you haven't been in a hot kitchen enough.
I don't. No one's in my kitchen except me, so I know.
Oh no, Dan!
You're just here alone yelling "hot oven" to nobody.
I stick to my policies. I feel like you do need to tell people generally if they're in the kitchen and there's something really hot. Mm-hmm. You just say it.
Wait, when you walk in the kitchen, do you go, something hot coming in, baby?
I do.
Woo, woo,
Check me out. Check me out. I think really the question, there's a million comments, so we'll read them. But right now, I just want to check in where everyone is.
Okay.
I do think that ultimately, this isn't you say something. You say something. It seems to me like she heated up the cast iron pan for no reason.
So she could cook with it.
She should put the butter in.
And
that it was hot. No, I know, but it was hot beyond what would be expected, right? If she had got it on the stove and then he burnt his hand on it from the stove, then I'd be like, well, you're a fucking idiot. But that's not why he burnt himself. He burnt himself because he didn't realize it was in the oven. How could he possibly know that? And so for these reasons, I am at 60-40. I think he's reasonable there.
I disagree. To no one's surprise at the moment, I think that it's like a 50-50 situation, if anything, because if they have a cast iron skillet and that's what they use to cook, he should know that it's going to be hot. Whether he thinks it's going to be 400 degrees or 200 degrees, it's going to be hot, not touchable hot if it's on and there's melted butter. Also, her back was to him, so she couldn't have known he was going to grab it. In which case, I would have been like, you have to. If she saw it, I'm sure she would have been like, that's hot, don't touch it. So I don't think that she's the asshole for not saying. I don't know. We're not at that part, maybe, but I think that it's too much.
So you're at 50-50.
I'm at even less than 50-50.
Oh, so you blame him. You're at 40-60. Yeah. His loss.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I'm like amazed that they are still talking about this.
I know. I kind of love
it. I guess maybe 60. I guess 60 for her, 40 for him. Fuck because her back was reverse.
Back, baby.
Because her back was turned.
Yes,
and
this is a key factor.
Her back was turned, and like if you are familiar with it, you shouldn't be touching them in use. And I just also think it's funny that he touched it and was like, why didn't you tell me? It's like, well, I didn't see you.
Yeah.
It's a enter the kitchen notify.
Okay. And then I disagree with your policy on it.
Mm-hmm.
And lastly, I guess there is no lastly. That's it. Yeah.
Because
gonna get
also
some
it sounds like
comments.
she was apologetic, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
She
it
wasn't like, oh, what an
she was
idiot.
like, you dummy.
Now we have
This
to
is very
divorce.
lighthearted for them.
Yeah.
The
We're having a
comments
good
the comments
time.
show me that this couple is more mature than Reddit. Glusen writes, "What the absolute F? Why are you two assigning percentages to blame? This is a blameless situation. Your fiance just accidentally grabbed the hot pan. You can't be blamed for that, and honestly, neither can fiance. Accidents happen. Sounds like fiance is embarrassed and cannot give themselves grace, so they need to turn it on you to protect their ego. You shouldn't be feeding into the blame game either. ESH."
Wow.
Is this the person who
Yeah,
also tried to
from
cancel us?
Something bad happened here, though. This is like borderline serious. It wasn't, thankfully, but I'm like, yeah, this is why like you do want to talk about these things.
I think it's really cute that they talked it out and had this whole
Yes.
little discussion and then
Yeah.
came to be like they even said like, ha ha ha, Reddit's the place where you
Right,
get this
yeah.
stuff done.
Yeah.
Or, like they know it's not that.
It sounded like a friendly,
Yeah.
like, oh my God, babe.
Yeah.
Babe, I'm at the thrift store.
Well, like hot things. Oh boy.
I was waiting for it.
Babe, that was hot. Babe.
That's from the bonus
How did
episode.
you not know?
You have to
Sorry,
get Patreon
yeah.
to
Babe,
get
how
that.
did you not know it was hot?
babe,
I grew up in Poland. Everything.
Well, you want to work through this shit. Like somebody got hurt.
Yeah.
It sucks to be burnt. It can honestly impair your use
I
of the
guess
hand.
if he was
Agreed.
in a lot of pain, I can see why he's mad. But to be fair, her back was turned.
Yes, that's a big factor in this.
But
one.
it's not.
Yes.
It's maybe then I might agree with this person that it's not about assigning blame, but about avoiding this happening again.
Yeah.
I think the assigning blame is a cute little game they're playing and they're having fun with
Yeah.
it. But I think that obviously they don't want to burn hands again. Also, if they're gamers, they need those hands, baby.
They need their
They
hands.
need
They
those
need their
hands.
That's a good point. Wow, I hadn't
fingers.
thought of that.
Yeah.
I actually, I'll go on the other side. If someone's cooking, the person coming into the kitchen should reasonably assume that there's hot shit around and
Yeah.
they should be
Yeah.
careful and not touch anything.
Yeah. One time I did pull out as a child, I pulled out a cake with oven mitts and I put the cake on the stove and then I took the oven mitts off and then I popped up the cake pan to show off the cake and then
I feel like that
screamed and
happens.
dropped
Yes.
it.
Oh, was the
And no
cake
one felt
ruined?
bad for me. Everyone was so mad at me.
Oh my gosh, I
Wow,
would have, especially for a
brutal.
kid, I would have been like, that. I feel so horrible for you.
Yeah.
But I think that okay, can I just go back? Because there's one more thing I want to say.
Okay.
The other reason why I think that she's not at fault is because he came in and asked what he could do. And she basically did not say anything about the pan. In which case, if she was like, can you shake the butter? Then I'd
directing-
be like, oh no, it's on her. But she was like,
Directing him elsewhere.
yes. she
Ooh,
was
my
asking for
fiance
something
comes
else.
out asking what it is he needs to do. I say, I just need these veggies cut, which I was doing. And he goes to give the cast iron pan a shake to move the butter around.
Yes.
So he wasn't really respecting her. She was cooking and
Yes.
actually, I think that's going to move me a lot.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah, it was. He thought he knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
He wasn't asked to do it.
Yep.
I think that's a very good argument. I really hate this comment. Sweeto writes, in my relationship, I would take 100% responsibility because what a horrible thing to happen. And my partner would take 100% responsibility because they failed to think through their action. Incoherent. Incoherent.
I
You
feel like
can't-
she's single.
I don't think that she understands
Exactly.
what
Thank you.
percentages are either.
So annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Litigating a relationship like this is the beginning of the end. I disagree with that.
I
Oh
totally
wow.
disagree, yeah.
Calm
I think-
down.
I think, it's not that serious.
Yeah,
They both
exactly.
acknowledge it. I mean, it could have been serious because you want to have protocols around like
You and your
kitchen stuff.
protocols, emergency protocols.
Protocols are good.
You're all about it.
Yeah.
Well, when things are dangerous, like
Yeah.
boiling water for me is like boiling water is like the most dangerous thing in daily life.
Yeah, because if someone hits it, oof.
oh my
that's
God,
bad.
you're
That's real
big,
bad.
big
Yeah.
uggo mode.
My brother
Now
got
your
burned by
face is
boiling
burned?
I feel
water, and
bad.
it was horrific. Like his whole body slid
Oh.
off.
Oh.
So I'm like, and I, with kids, I'm like, I'm keeping them out of the kitchen. I am
Oh, you keep
doing
them out.
that kind of, not all the time, but like if there's a bunch of hot things on the stove, I'm
course.
like, I need you guys to back up a little bit. If we're opening the oven, we're like, back up a little, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I get that. But yeah.
Well, like, I don't know. I think a lot about you want to always kind of do things in a way. Well, I was just talking about this. So I left the oven on twice in my apartment.
Isn't that
in
scary?
Brooklyn.
Oh my gosh.
And so my solution was, because I didn't really know what to do, so I would just take like a piece of the recycling and put it in the middle of the kitchen, so I could instantly just would know.
Oh, so you would remember that it was on.
Couldn't
That's
forget.
smart.
So I feel like stuff like that is smart to do. It's like you want to assume that people are going to do stupid things, and that's how you prevent bad things from happening. Just assume that people are.
Your trauma.
Yeah, I think it's specifically because you left the oven on, though. Not
Yeah.
that that's a protocol that everyone should do.
Well, but the idea is that, like, why wouldn't you set it up so that stupid people?
Well, most
can't
people
hurt?
will just remember to turn it off.
Well, no, but I'm not telling people what to do about their ovens. I'm
Yeah.
just saying, generally speaking, if you have something dangerous like a hot, what is it called, a cast iron?
You don't even know the name of it.
I don't care.
I don't care.
I'm not getting one.
No, but it's
not
like,
getting-
you know what? I'm going to get you one. I'm
Get
going to
me
get you
one.
one for Christmas. And then you're going to come back and be like, look, we need to do a bonus episode so I can apologize
I'm
to
hurt.
everybody for saying that.
Also, that's a big gift. They're expensive.
I know, actually,
so,
yeah. I'll
Yeah,
give
they
you
are, yeah,
installments
right.
of it. I'll be like,
Yeah,
in 10 years, you're getting it, baby.
Well, like when I'm on my one wheel, it's like, look, people are stupid. I have to assume they're stupid. I have to assume they're not going to obey traffic. I have to assume they're not going to see me. It's like I have to assume they're stupid, because if they're not, then nothing happens. But if they are, then I'm dead.
Yeah.
Mm.
But I think in that scenario, you're the guy coming in. So you should assume and be like, hey, is this hot? Because you're going to be
I
like,
agree with
oh,
that.
I'm-
I agree
you know
that
what I
they
mean?
both need to adopt different policies. And
Yeah.
I guess you guys are calling it labor. I think it's very reasonable to be like, hot thing. I don't think that takes that much work. And
I don't
also
think it's labor. It's a little neurotic.
Yeah,
well, be
maybe,
neurotic.
yeah.
It's a hot thing. Getting burned sucks. And I also think that if you're the kitchen enterer, you should assume that things are hot because there's cooking happening.
Where is kitchen enter for you? Is it the kitchen table? Is it at the
No.
counter? At the
Yes,
stove?
the counter and the kitchen appliance areas.
Okay, so it's not someone. It's like not me in this doorway, and you're at the.
Well, yeah, I have a
oven. You
hallway
wouldn't.
kitchen, so it's.
But like some people have like a kitchen, you know.
well,
so when
like
you
the
say kitchen
island,
enter-
the island is considered a safe area because there's generally not appliances living on the
Yeah.
island.
So you're saying at
But-
countertop.
Yeah,
say.
basically at the border.
Okay.
The counter.
And had she
Sure.
seen him approach countertop, perhaps she would have.
Well, if she heard him come in, yeah, I guess you're right. It could be an open kitchen. And it's
Yeah.
like, some people's kitchen is
'Cause
open.
when
to
you
their
say
living
at
room.
kitchen, I'm imagining
That's
really my
fair.
mom. 'Cause she's fairly neurotic. Like me walking in at 8 a.m. She goes, "I have a hot tea."
I like that.
But I'm like, why are you yelling? It's 8 a.m.
Yes.
And I'm not going to drink the tea, you know?
My dad is a big err on the side of caution guy, and I'm like,
Mm.
why wouldn't you?
Okay.
You know.
All right. Well, we learned a lot.
We
We
learned
did.
a
We learned
lot.
a lot about each other.
Yeah, the Reddit's all over the place, but I love this update. Thank you all. My fiance and I were so excited to post this and have our relationship ripped to shreds.
I love them so much. I love them.
Fun.
We turned it into date night at a local pizza spot, played AITA bingo, and loved all the comments. Thanks to the laugh, we had such a fun day. Reddit calling my relationship exhausting has been the highlight of my week. He accepts his idiot badge proudly.
Oh my gosh, I love
they're
them.
They're cute, right?
fun.
Do they? I feel like they need like a little reality TV show. They're so cute.
Oh my
They
God,
do.
you should plan their wedding.
Oh my
Even though
God.
They're already
yeah.
double
They're already
married.
married. I'll plan a new wedding for
Yeah.
them. For anyone who doesn't know, I used to be a wedding planner.
Yeah.
Just like
I'm
a
a-
random thing.
I'm a drifter's body rights. I say this lightly, but YTA, there's not a visual indicator that cast irons are hot. They don't make any noise or change color. What does what?
They're not a chameleon.
Yeah. And if the stovetop itself was turned off, I would believe that anyone would misjudge and think it's maybe warm, but definitely not hot. Even when I'm the one cooking and just get busy, I forget that it's hot. We'll grab it from time to time. We've all done that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, overall, I do think you got me on the fact that he asked what needed to be done.
Yes.
But I think that both parties need to adopt better safety practices. Nonetheless, AITA for not reminding my fiance that stoves are hot. I think in this case, I am not the asshole, and he is.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's
I don't
an
think
asshole.
anyone is.
It's just they're
I
such a
think-
cute couple. I love them so much.
I think they're fucking and they're having
Yeah.
a really
They're
good
fucking.
they're living their best lives.
Yeah.
The fact that they brought that to a did
They
bingo
were
at a
like-
brewer or pizza night.
Yeah, they made it
so
fun.
I love that.
cute.
Yeah.
Where do they live?
Yeah.
Should we move that other family there
Close to
for
them. Maybe they can
community?
get some. Yeah.
They need to copy them.